21. Name 2 parameters that can be useful to check the quality of test execution. Answer. 2 parameters required to check the quality of test execution include defect leakage ratio. It represents the ratio of total potential rejections to the total overall production. Defect reject ratio. It represents the ratio of total rejections to the total overall production. 22. What is API testing? Answer. An API, application programming interface, test involves testing API directly and as part of an integration test to ensure they meet reliable, functional, performance, and security requirements. Due to the lack of a GUI, APIs are tested at the message layer. The tester writes code that makes an API request to the server that provides the API, provides the required inputs, collects the output from the response, and matches the actual output with the expected output. API testing primarily concerns the business logic of the software that's exposing the API. It does not involve the look and feel, accessibility, or usability of the software. API testing can be automated to make it repeatable and reproducible each time they run. 23. Explain use case testing. Answer. Use case testing is basically a technique for developers and testers to identify test cases that exercise the entire system right from the very beginning to the very end of each transaction. Generally, it is part of black box testing, which is used to develop tests or systems that achieve acceptable performance levels. 24. Explain path testing. Answer. A path test is a type of test designed specifically for designing test cases. It involves the use of a control flow chart designed specifically to identify a set of linearly independent paths of execution leading to the completion of a program. The main objective of this process is to ensure that all paths are covered and executed well. In addition, it reduces or minimizes the likelihood of redundant tests occurring. 25. Explain endurance testing or soak testing. Answer. Endurance testing, also known as soak testing, is a type of performance testing usually performed to check the performance of the system that is under constant use. Its main purpose is to determine whether a system can sustain a continuous high load or not. Memory utilization is also monitored to identify potential leaks during this testing. Some of the endurance testing tools include WebLoad ** load UI * OpenSTA * load complete Apache JMeter, etc. 26. Explain the term testbed. Answer. Testbed is generally referred to as a digital platform that is used for testing an application. It includes an operating system, database, hardware, network configuration, software application under test, and all other software-related issues. 27. Explain bugs, defects, and errors. Answer. Error. The error occurs when there is a programming mistake in the code that prevents the program from executing or compiling. Defect. A defect is any variation between the actual result and the expected result determined by a tester or developer. Defects are typically detected after the product enters production and are resolved only during the development phase. Bug. A software bug is detected during the testing phase as a fault or mismatch. This affects the functionality and performance of the software. 28. What is the software testing lifecycle? Answer. STLC, Software Testing Lifecycle, is a fundamental part of SDLC which is used to test software and ensure that the quality standards are met. Verification and validation are generally involved in this process. In this, different activities are executed in a specific order throughout the software testing process. There are basically 6 different phases in STLC model as shown below. Requirement analysis. The QA team analyzes the requirements to determine what we are going to test and what the testable requirements are. Test planning. This phase involves defining the test strategy. This step determines the project's objective and scope. Test case development. This stage involves defining and developing detailed test cases. Test data is also prepared by the testing team for testing. Test environment setup. This is the software and hardware setup that the testing teams use to execute test cases. Test execution. This involves executing code and comparing it with the expected results. Test cycle closure. This involves calling out a meeting of the testing team members to evaluate and assess cycle completion criteria based on cost, time, test coverage, quality, and critical business objectives and software. 29. What is black box testing? Answer. In black box testing, the tester views the software as a black box, ignoring all the internal structure and behavior. It is solely concerned with the input provided by the user and the output generated by the system. Black box testing verifies the program's behavior against the specified requirements. As part of black box testing, test conditions are created based on the software's functionality without knowing how it works internally. In this approach, the software is tested from the point of view of the end user and provides a broader view of the entire system. In light of the fact that users are only concerned with whether the software meets their needs, rather than how it works, black box testing is an excellent way to test software usability and anticipate how customers will use it. 30. What white box testing? Answer. White box testing is an alternative to black box testing that involves viewing the system as a transparent box. It is possible for the testers to observe the internal implementation of the system, which helps them conduct the test. In most cases, white box testing is performed by the software developers during the development process. It is also referred to as closed box testing. In white box testing, we assume that the tester has some programming knowledge. The test covers all possible branches a program could follow in a running system. The more you know about the inside of a system, such as its source code and implementation details, the more thoroughly you can test it.